Welcome to the channel. In life, emotions often act as powerful waves, rising and falling in response to events around us. While feeling emotions is a natural and essential part of being human, how we react to them determines the quality of our lives and relationships. The practice of not reacting, of pausing to observe emotions rather than being swept away by them, can unlock a profound sense of power and peace. Let's explore how this transformative habit can help you master your emotions and embrace true inner strength. Understanding the space between stimulus and response, life often unfolds in unpredictable ways, presenting us with challenges, frustrations, and moments of joy. Our natural tendency is to react instinctively, especially when something triggers strong emotions. These reactions, while immediate and unfiltered, can often lead to outcomes we later regret. Buddhist teachings emphasize the importance of pausing before reacting, pointing to the power found in this stillness. In the space between stimulus and response lies our opportunity for freedom and growth, a lesson that can radically transform how we approach life's emotional storms. Imagine a moment when someone speaks to you harshly, their words cutting like a sharp blade. The immediate urge may be to retaliate, to defend yourself, or to escalate the situation. Yet, if you pause and resist the urge to act impulsively, you grant yourself the opportunity to observe the situation from a clearer perspective. This brief pause is a sacred space, a moment where clarity and wisdom can emerge, replacing the chaos of reaction with the calm of deliberate action. Reacting impulsively often stems from our survival instincts, which are deeply ingrained in our biology. In the past, reacting quickly to a threat was essential for survival. However, in the modern world, these instincts can become a source of unnecessary conflict. By taking a moment to pause and assess, we shift from an automatic reaction to a mindful response. This choice, though subtle, creates a profound difference in how we navigate challenges and maintain inner peace. The power of pausing lies in its ability to help us connect with the present moment. When faced with a strong emotion, we often feel an intense pull to act on it. This pull, while compelling, is not a true reflection of our deeper self. Instead, it is the surface-level turbulence caused by fleeting feelings. Through mindful observation, we can witness these emotions without becoming entangled in them. This practice allows us to see that emotions, like waves, rise and fall, but are never permanent. Practicing non-reaction does not mean suppressing or ignoring emotions. On the contrary, it requires a deep awareness of what is happening within. For example, when anger arises, acknowledging its presence can be as simple as silently saying to yourself, "This is anger." Naming the emotion allows you to separate yourself from it, breaking the illusion that the feeling is who you are. This moment of recognition can diffuse the intensity of the emotion, giving you greater control over how you respond. It is in this space of mindful observation that true power resides. When we react impulsively, we give away our power to the external world, letting circumstances dictate our emotional state. By choosing not to react, we reclaim that power and anchor ourselves in a place of stability. This inner stillness is not passive. It is an active choice to remain grounded and centered, no matter what unfolds around us. The practice of non-reaction becomes a profound tool for cultivating emotional resilience. As we learn to pause and observe, we begin to see patterns in our emotional responses. Perhaps we notice that certain situations trigger us more than others, or that some emotions linger longer than we realized. This awareness is the first step toward transforming those patterns, allowing us to respond with wisdom rather than impulsiveness. Choosing not to react can also have a ripple effect on our relationships. When we respond calmly to someone else's anger or frustration, we diffuse tension and create an atmosphere of understanding. This approach fosters trust and openness, as others feel safe to express themselves without fear of escalation. Over time, these moments of mindful non-reaction can strengthen bonds and deepen connections, enriching both our personal and professional lives. The habit of pausing before reacting can be cultivated through simple daily practices. Mindfulness meditation, for example, trains the mind to observe thoughts and emotions without judgment. By sitting quietly and focusing on the breath, we create a space where we can witness our inner world with clarity. This practice, though seemingly small, builds the mental muscles needed to pause in the heat of the moment. Another helpful tool is reflection. At the end of each day, take a moment to recall situations where you felt reactive. Consider what triggered you, how you responded, and what you might do differently next time. This reflective practice not only deepens your self-awareness, but also reinforces your commitment to mindful living. Over time, it becomes easier to identify triggers before they escalate into reactions. As we develop the habit of non-reaction, we may begin to notice a shift in our overall emotional state. Situations that once felt overwhelming or infuriating lose their grip on us. This shift is not because the external world has changed, but because we have changed our relationship with it. By cultivating inner stillness, we create a buffer between ourselves and the chaos around us, allowing us to move through life with greater ease and grace. The journey toward mastering our emotions requires patience and perseverance. It is not a linear path, nor is it one that demands perfection. There will be moments when we slip into old patterns, reacting impulsively despite our best intentions. These moments are not failures, but opportunities to learn and grow. Each time we choose to pause, even briefly, we reinforce the habit of mindfulness and strengthen our ability to respond with wisdom. In choosing not to react, we are not turning away from life's challenges, but engaging with them from a place of strength. This approach allows us to see the bigger picture, to understand that our immediate feelings are only a small part of a much larger story. By stepping back and observing, we gain the perspective needed to navigate life's complexities with clarity and composure. Over time, the practice of pausing becomes second nature, an automatic response to moments of tension or uncertainty. This inner calm radiates outward, influencing not only our own well-being, but also the dynamics of those around us. Just as a still pond reflects the world clearly, a calm mind reflects wisdom and understanding, creating a ripple effect that touches everyone we encounter. The ripple effect of reactions. Reacting impulsively often has far-reaching consequences, sometimes in ways we fail to realize in the heat of the moment. Imagine a tense argument with a loved one. A sharp retort may seem justified at the time, but the lingering hurt it causes can strain the relationship for days or weeks. This immediate satisfaction of expressing anger often comes at a higher emotional cost. The truth is, reactions, especially impulsive ones, rarely align with our deeper intentions. They serve as temporary releases, but can leave behind scars that take much longer to heal. By stepping back and visualizing the outcome of a reaction, we create a mental buffer. This brief mental exercise helps us weigh the consequences of our response before delivering it. Consider a workplace conflict. A hasty reaction might jeopardize not only your professional relationship, but also your reputation. Conversely, choosing not to react immediately gives you time to approach the situation with clarity and professionalism. Over time, this practice reinforces a sense of control and confidence in your ability to navigate challenges effectively. Reactivity often thrives on our sense of urgency. Emotions flare up, and we feel compelled to respond right away, as if a delayed reaction would lessen our position. However, taking a moment to pause dismantles this false sense of immediacy. It allows us to assess whether the issue truly warrants a strong emotional response, or if it's simply a fleeting trigger. Imagine scrolling through social media and encountering a comment that offends you. The urge to reply can be overwhelming, but refraining often leads to the realization that the comment wasn't worth your energy at all. This space between emotion and reaction is not a void, but a profound opportunity. In it lies the power to rewrite how we interact with the world. When someone cuts us off in traffic, the automatic reaction may be frustration or anger. Yet, when we pause to consider their circumstances, perhaps they're rushing to an emergency, we shift from anger to understanding. Even if we don't know their story, the simple act of choosing compassion over frustration enriches our inner peace and breaks the cycle of negative reactivity. Developing this habit requires conscious effort and repeated practice. It might feel unnatural at first, especially in situations that habitually trigger us. But with time, the moments of pause become second nature, allowing us to engage with life from a place of balance. The process starts with awareness, becoming attuned to the bodily sensations and mental chatter that precede a reaction. A racing heart, clenched fists, or a flood of thoughts can signal the onset of emotional turbulence. Recognizing these signs is the first step toward reclaiming control. Non-reactivity also invites a deeper connection to our true intentions. Beneath the surface of reactive impulses often lies a genuine desire for understanding, respect, or connection. When we react hastily, we obscure these desires, replacing them with defensiveness or aggression. Taking time to respond mindfully allows our authentic intentions to shine through, fostering more meaningful and compassionate interactions. It's not about suppressing emotions, but channeling them in ways that align with our values and higher self. The practice of non-reaction also transforms our perception of challenges. Instead of viewing them as personal affronts or obstacles, we begin to see them as opportunities for growth. When a co-worker criticizes our work, the initial reaction might be defensiveness, but pausing allows us to reflect on the critique objectively. Could there be merit in their feedback? Even if delivered poorly, their input could offer a chance to improve. Shifting from reaction to reflection turns potential conflicts into avenues for learning. Another benefit of non-reactivity is the emotional stability it fosters. Reactive patterns often create a roller coaster of emotions, leaving us feeling drained and unsettled. By choosing stillness, we cultivate a sense of steadiness that shields us from external chaos. This doesn't mean we become indifferent. Rather, it means we approach life's ups and downs with a grounded presence. Like the ocean beneath its surface waves, our inner world remains calm and undisturbed even during turbulent times. Empathy also flourishes in the absence of reactivity. When we're quick to react, we prioritize our own perspective over others. But pausing allows us to step into their shoes, to consider their feelings and motivations. This shift not only diffuses potential conflict, but also deepens our connections with others. Whether it's a partner, a friend, or a stranger, the ability to respond thoughtfully enhances mutual understanding and respect. Ultimately, every moment of non-reaction strengthens our ability to choose peace over conflict, understanding over judgment, and clarity over chaos. It's a gift we give not only to ourselves, but also to those around us. Each time we choose not to react impulsively, we create a ripple effect of calm, fostering a more harmonious and compassionate environment. Embrace mindfulness to anchor yourself. Mindfulness is an essential practice for mastering emotions because it teaches us to be fully present with our experiences moment by moment. When emotions like anger, frustration, or fear arise, our instinct is often to react immediately, trying to fight or escape them. Mindfulness, however, encourages us to do the opposite, to sit with our emotions and observe them as they unfold. This process doesn't mean suppressing feelings, but rather creating space to understand them without judgment. By practicing mindfulness, we can begin to see emotions as temporary waves passing through our minds rather than permanent fixtures of our identity. When practicing mindfulness, the first step is to notice what you are feeling without labeling it as good or bad. For instance, if you feel anger bubbling up, simply acknowledge its presence by saying, "This is anger." Naming the emotion separates you from it, making it easier to observe without becoming consumed. This acknowledgement is like stepping back to watch a storm from a safe distance instead of being caught in the rain. By doing so, you create a sense of detachment that allows you to respond rather than react. Mindfulness also invites curiosity about our emotions. Once we've acknowledged a feeling, we can investigate it with gentle interest. Ask yourself questions like, "Where do I feel this in my body?" Or, "What might have triggered this emotion?" By exploring emotions in this way, you shift from being overwhelmed to understanding their roots. You might notice that anger tightens your chest, or that anxiety manifests as a fluttering in your stomach. This body awareness anchors you in the present moment, providing a stable foundation amidst emotional turbulence. Breathing is a powerful tool in mindfulness, offering a way to ground yourself when emotions feel overwhelming. Focusing on the breath helps calm the mind and body, creating a pause between the emotional trigger and your response. Simply take a few deep, slow breaths, paying attention to the sensation of air entering and leaving your nostrils or the rise and fall of your chest. This focus not only redirects your attention but also signals to your nervous system that it's safe to relax, diffusing the intensity of your emotions. Over time, mindfulness teaches us to see emotions as visitors rather than permanent residents. Imagine anger or sadness knocking at your door. Instead of slamming the door or letting them take over your home, you can welcome them politely, observe their purpose, and let them leave when they're ready. This metaphor illustrates how mindfulness transforms our relationship with emotions from one of resistance to one of acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean resigning yourself to negative feelings, but recognizing that they're part of the human experience and will naturally pass. Mindfulness also helps us uncover the stories we tell ourselves about our emotions. Often, our reactions are not just about what we're feeling, but the narrative we attach to those feelings. For example, feeling ignored might trigger anger, but underneath that anger could be a story about unworthiness or fear of rejection. Mindfulness allows us to identify these stories and question their validity, breaking the cycle of automatic reactivity. With this clarity, we can respond to situations with greater understanding and compassion for ourselves and others. Another benefit of mindfulness is its ability to create a gap between our thoughts and our sense of self. Emotions often come with a barrage of thoughts such as, "I'm a failure," or "they don't respect me." By practicing mindfulness, we learn to observe these thoughts as passing mental events rather than truths about who we are. This shift in perspective weakens the hold that emotions and their associated thoughts have on us, empowering us to act from a place of stability rather than impulsivity. Practicing mindfulness regularly also strengthens our ability to remain calm in challenging situations. Think of mindfulness as a muscle that grows with use. The more you practice observing your emotions in moments of quiet, the easier it becomes to apply this skill in moments of conflict or stress. For instance, if someone criticizes you, your immediate reaction might be defensiveness. However, with mindfulness, you can pause, notice the sting of the criticism, and choose a measured response instead of lashing out. This practice not only protects your peace, but also improves your interactions with others. Incorporating mindfulness into daily life doesn't require hours of meditation. Simple practices like pausing to take a few mindful breaths during a stressful meeting or noticing the warmth of your coffee before taking a sip can weave mindfulness into your routine. These small moments of presence add up, gradually rewiring your brain to respond to emotions with greater balance and clarity. Over time, you'll find that mindfulness becomes second nature, a quiet anchor that keeps you steady no matter what arises. Mindfulness isn't about erasing emotions, but about changing how we experience them. When we approach emotions with curiosity and compassion, we discover that they have valuable lessons to teach us. Anger might reveal a boundary that needs attention, while sadness can point us toward what we truly value. By being present with our emotions, we gain insights that help us grow and respond to life with wisdom. This process is transformative, allowing us to live with greater authenticity and resilience. The strength in stillness. In our fast-paced and reaction-driven world, the ability to remain still amidst emotional turbulence is a profound act of courage. Stillness is not apathy. It is an intentional choice to resist the pull of impulsive reactions and instead respond with clarity and composure. When someone criticizes or challenges us, the instinct to defend ourselves often arises quickly. However, responding defensively can escalate the situation, creating unnecessary tension. By choosing stillness, we disengage from the emotional charge of the moment and offer ourselves the opportunity to act with wisdom rather than haste. In these moments of stillness, we reclaim our power. Reacting immediately often hands control over to the external situation or person, leaving us feeling drained or manipulated. By pausing, we regain authority over our emotional state. For example, if a friend's comment feels hurtful, an immediate retort might deepen the conflict. Instead, taking a moment to breathe and process allows us to discern whether the comment was truly harmful or simply a reflection of their own mood. This space for reflection transforms our interactions into opportunities for understanding rather than confrontation. Choosing stillness also creates a ripple effect, influencing those around us. When we respond calmly in the face of provocation, it often diffuses the intensity of the other person's emotions. They may begin to mirror our calm demeanor, leading to more productive and meaningful conversations. Imagine a heated discussion where one party chooses not to retaliate, but instead listens quietly. This pause can break the cycle of escalating anger, inviting the other person to reflect on their words or actions. The strength of stillness lies in its subtle yet profound ability to shift the dynamics of any situation. This practice also protects our inner peace, which is often at risk when we react impulsively. Every time we lash out or let our emotions dictate our actions, we disturb our mental and emotional balance. However, when we choose stillness, we anchor ourselves in that balance, allowing us to navigate challenges with grace. It is in these quiet pauses that we can truly hear our inner voice, guiding us toward responses aligned with our values. The peace that emerges from this alignment becomes a foundation for resilience in all aspects of life. Stillness is not an absence of emotion, but rather a conscious engagement with it. Anger, frustration, or sadness may arise, but instead of suppressing or acting on these feelings, we observe them with curiosity. This awareness creates a buffer between the emotion and our response, giving us time to understand its root cause. For instance, if we feel anger building during an argument, stillness allows us to recognize whether the anger stems from the present moment or from unresolved feelings of the past. By addressing the true source, we avoid reacting disproportionately and find clarity in our actions. There is immense strength in resisting the pressure to react. Social norms often equate immediate responses with confidence or control, but true strength lies in the ability to pause. A person who can remain composed in the face of provocation demonstrates an unshakable inner foundation. This quiet power is often misunderstood as passivity, but in reality, it is a profound demonstration of self-mastery. It takes far more courage to remain calm than to give in to the instinct to retaliate or defend. Over time, the practice of stillness fosters emotional resilience. Each time we choose not to react, we build a habit of emotional regulation, making it easier to remain calm in future challenges. This resilience becomes a shield, protecting us from the chaos of the external world. Life's unpredictability loses its power to destabilize us because we have cultivated a sanctuary within. This inner strength not only benefits us, but also inspires those around us, encouraging them to adopt similar practices of calm and mindfulness. Stillness also nurtures deeper connections with others. By not reacting, we create space for listening and understanding. When we respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively, we show respect for the other person's perspective, even if it differs from our own. This respectful engagement strengthens relationships as it fosters trust and openness. People feel heard and valued when we take the time to pause and consider our responses. This mutual respect can transform even the most challenging interactions into opportunities for growth and connection. In moments of stillness, we also gain clarity about what truly matters. Emotions often cloud our judgment, pulling us into conflicts or concerns that, upon reflection, may not be worth our energy. Stillness helps us prioritize, allowing us to focus on what aligns with our higher purpose. It reminds us that not every provocation requires a response, and that sometimes silence is the most powerful statement. This discernment enables us to conserve our energy for actions that bring peace, joy, and fulfillment into our lives. Ultimately, the strength of stillness lies in its ability to empower us. It shifts the narrative from being a victim of external circumstances to being the author of our responses. Each pause, each moment of non-reaction reinforces our sense of agency and cultivates a deep sense of freedom. Stillness transforms us, enabling us to navigate life with a steady mind and an open heart, grounded in the wisdom that true strength is found not in force, but in calmness and clarity. Practices to build non-reactivity. Building the habit of non-reactivity takes patience, but it begins with small, deliberate steps. One effective practice is to notice your emotional triggers throughout the day. These triggers might be as minor as a co-worker's tone of voice or as major as a disagreement with a loved one. Each moment presents an opportunity to pause, observe your inner reaction, and decide whether to engage. This deliberate observation helps you identify patterns in your responses, creating a foundation for change. When emotions surge, anchoring yourself in the present moment is crucial. Mindfulness practices like focusing on your breath can serve as a lifeline. By gently directing your attention to the sensation of air entering and leaving your lungs, you interrupt the momentum of reactive thoughts. This redirection is not about suppressing the emotion, but about giving it space to exist without taking control. Over time, these small pauses will feel natural and their effects will ripple into other areas of life. Journaling can also deepen your understanding of your emotions and responses. At the end of each day, reflect on situations where you felt reactive. Write down what triggered the reaction, how you responded, and what emotions arose. This process encourages introspection, helping you pinpoint moments where you might have chosen a calmer path. With consistent journaling, you may notice recurring triggers or behaviors that you can address more mindfully. Mantras or affirmations are another practical tool for cultivating non-reactivity. In moments of tension, silently repeating a grounding phrase can create a sense of stability. Phrases like, "This too shall pass," or "I am steady like a mountain," serve as reminders of your inner strength and resilience. With practice, these mantras become a reflex, offering a moment of calm even in the most challenging situations. Visualization is a powerful technique to prepare yourself for moments of potential reactivity. Imagine a scenario that typically triggers you and picture yourself responding calmly and with grace. Visualize the details, your steady breathing, your relaxed posture, and the peaceful energy you bring to the interaction. This mental rehearsal strengthens your ability to embody calmness when faced with real-life challenges, making mindful responses feel second nature. Incorporating meditative reflection into your daily routine is another effective way to train your mind. Set aside 5 to 10 minutes each day to sit quietly and observe your thoughts. When an emotion or memory surfaces, instead of engaging with it, watch it as if it were a cloud drifting by. This practice teaches you to observe emotions without becoming entangled in them, building your capacity for stillness in everyday life. Physical sensations in your body can act as early warning signs of emotional reactivity. When you feel tension rising, such as a tight chest, clenched fists, or a racing heart, use these signals as a cue to pause. A simple body scan where you bring gentle awareness to each part of your body can help release tension and ground you in the present. Listening to your body in this way fosters a deeper connection between mind and emotions. Connecting non-reactivity to your broader values can make the practice more meaningful. Consider how choosing calm responses aligns with the person you aspire to be. For instance, if you value kindness, remind yourself that reacting impulsively might lead to actions that conflict with that value. Keeping this alignment in mind strengthens your resolve to pause and respond mindfully in challenging situations. Nature offers a wonderful mirror for the practice of non-reactivity. Observing a river flowing past rocks or a tree bending in the wind can inspire you to remain flexible yet rooted when emotions arise. Spending time in nature not only calms the mind, but also reinforces the idea that, like the natural world, you too can weather life's storms with grace. Finally, remember that the practice of non-reactivity is not about perfection. There will be moments when you react impulsively, and that's okay. Each instance is a learning opportunity, a chance to reflect and grow. Treat yourself with compassion as you navigate this journey. The goal is not to eliminate emotions, but to create a space where you can meet them with awareness, strength, and equanimity. The ultimate reward, inner peace. By practicing non-reactivity, you free yourself from the exhausting cycle of being controlled by external circumstances. This shift doesn't happen overnight, but each small step brings you closer to a calmer, more centered existence. Imagine a moment when someone criticizes you harshly. Your usual instinct might be to defend yourself or fire back. Instead, by choosing to pause and not react, you create a powerful sense of control. This space allows you to assess whether the criticism has merit or if it's simply a projection of someone else's pain. Over time, you'll notice that this restraint not only protects your peace, but also softens conflicts around you. When you begin to choose non-reaction, you'll experience a shift in your relationships. People are often caught in patterns of emotional exchange, where one person's reaction fuels another. By stepping out of this cycle, you interrupt the dynamic entirely. For example, if a friend is upset and lashes out, responding with calmness rather than defensiveness allows the situation to de-escalate. Your choice to remain still in the face of tension becomes a mirror for others, often inspiring them to reflect on their own behavior. This simple act of choosing peace over reaction can transform relationships, fostering deeper understanding and mutual respect. Non-reactivity also shields you from the unnecessary stress caused by situations beyond your control. Picture a frustrating moment, like waiting in a long line or dealing with a delayed flight. Reacting with anger or impatience doesn't change the situation, it only magnifies your distress. Instead, acknowledging your feelings without acting on them helps you detach from the moment's negativity. You begin to see such instances as opportunities to practice patience and acceptance. Gradually, you'll find that these once annoying situations lose their grip on your emotions, leaving you with more energy and clarity to navigate life. One of the most profound benefits of non-reactivity is the clarity it brings. Emotions, when left unchecked, can cloud judgment and lead to decisions you later regret. By pausing to observe your feelings, you allow your mind to settle, like muddy water clearing in a still pond. In this clarity, you can better discern the right course of action, whether it's speaking up thoughtfully, letting go, or simply walking away. This mental stillness becomes a foundation for making choices that align with your values and long-term goals, rather than fleeting emotional impulses. The practice of non-reactivity doesn't mean suppressing emotions or pretending they don't exist. On the contrary, it's about fully acknowledging them without letting them dictate your actions. Anger, sadness, or frustration can be potent teachers if you allow them to arise without judgment. By sitting with your emotions and observing them, you begin to understand their roots. Perhaps anger stems from unmet expectations, or sadness from unhealed wounds. This self-awareness not only reduces the intensity of these emotions, but also helps you address their underlying causes with compassion. There's a subtle but profound joy in realizing that you don't have to react to everything. In a world that often glorifies busyness and urgency, choosing stillness feels like reclaiming your power. You begin to notice how much lighter life becomes when you no longer feel compelled to respond to every provocation or challenge. This newfound freedom opens up space for more meaningful experiences. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, you find yourself more present for what's going right. Moments of beauty, connection, and gratitude become more vivid when your mind is no longer tangled in unnecessary reactions. With time, the habit of non-reactivity can create a ripple effect in your life. As you cultivate inner calm, it begins to radiate outward, influencing those around you. Friends and family may notice your steadiness and feel more at ease in your presence. In professional settings, this emotional balance can make you a more effective leader, capable of navigating challenges with poise. The practice of non-reactivity not only transforms your internal world, but also reshapes the energy you bring to every interaction, fostering a sense of trust and stability in your relationships. Non-reactivity also deepens your connection with yourself. By not reacting, you create a sacred pause where you can reflect on what truly matters. You begin to discern between the fleeting urges of the ego and the deeper wisdom of your inner self. For instance, when faced with criticism, the ego might demand immediate vindication, but your higher self knows that true worth isn't tied to external opinions. This inner dialogue strengthens your sense of self, making you less dependent on validation from others and more anchored in your own values. The more you practice non-reactivity, the more you recognize its transformative power. It allows you to move through life with grace, adapting to its ebbs and flows without losing your center. Challenges that once felt overwhelming become manageable as you realize that your peace doesn't depend on external circumstances, but on your inner state. This realization is liberating, freeing you from the need to control every outcome or prove yourself to others. Instead, you focus on what you can control, your own thoughts, emotions, and actions. Ultimately, non-reactivity is a gift you give not only to yourself, but to the world. In choosing not to react, You create a ripple of calm that extends far beyond you. Your presence becomes a refuge for those around you, reminding them that they too can find peace amidst life's chaos. This practice of choosing stillness in the face of turmoil is an act of kindness, both to yourself and to others. It reflects the profound truth that true power lies not in domination or control, but in the quiet strength of a mind at peace. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring them. It means observing them with mindfulness and choosing your response with intention. By learning to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully, you tap into a deep well of strength that transforms not only your inner world, but the world around you. Take a moment today to embrace stillness amidst life's noise. As you practice the power of not reacting, you'll find that true peace comes not from controlling the storm, but from remaining calm within it.